A woman named Elizabeth Willing Powell is waiting outside. She is one of the most prominent women in Philadelphia at the time. She walks up to Benjamin Franklin and asks him a question. Well, doctor, what have we got? A republic or a monarchy? A republic, if you can keep it. That conversation is recorded in the journal of James McHenry, one of Maryland's delegates. He happened to be standing nearby during that conversation, and the original journal can be found at the Library of Congress today. You can read it for yourself. Let's spend our Friday this week on that one line, a republic, if you can keep it. The framers did not assume the country they had just designed would last by itself. They were not handing the next generation a self-sustaining machine. They were handing them a tool that required active maintenance from its citizens forever. If the citizens stopped doing the maintenance, the republic would not keep. Franklin knew this, and so did every man walking out of that hall behind him. This is a piece that gets left out of most 4th of July conversations. We talk a lot about what was won in 1776, but we don't talk much about what is required to keep it going in 2026. What is required? Citizenship is maintenance work. It requires real work. It requires real information. It requires real attention. It requires the willingness to read those primary documents and not just the headlines. It requires the willingness to vote in elections you don't care about, because the consequences of a bad local government are sometimes worse than a bad federal government. It requires teaching your kids what the country actually is and not what the t-shirt says. It requires sometimes being the one in the room who knows what the documents actually say and being willing to bring them up. That is what maintenance is. That is what Franklin was talking about. Here's 3 things that you can do on the 4th to turn the holiday back into what it was supposed to be. The first, before the cookout even starts, sit down with whoever's in your house and read the Declaration of Independence out loud together from top to bottom. It takes like 10 minutes. It's like 1,300 words. Pass the pages around the table and let everybody read a section, kids included, especially the kids. This used to be a common household practice, but it isn't anymore. Bring it back and make it one in your house. Second, at some point on the 4th, take a moment and think about or say aloud one name of one specific person who died for this country. Could be from 1776, or it could be from last year. Could be somebody in your family, or it could be the name that you looked up yesterday. But just one. Say it out loud. And the third thing is do one small act of citizenship sometime in the next week. It could be looking up who your school board representatives are. It could be reading one of the founding documents that you have never read before. It could be talking to your neighbor that you've been meaning to talk to about something that you actually share. It could be voting in your local primary that you would have skipped. Just one act of maintenance. You don't have to do a grand thing. You just have to add one small deposit to keeping the republic this week. To close out this week, there is a line that has stayed with me longer than any other from our founding documents. It's not the part about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Most Americans can quote at least part of some of that. It's the line at the very end of the Declaration of Independence, when the signers knew exactly what they were doing and what it would cost them. They wrote, "And for the support of this declaration, with firm reliance on the protection of the divine providence, we mutually pledge each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor." They put down their names. They lit the fuse on an 8-year war. Then they handed the rest of us a country, a republic, if we can keep it. Have a great 4th of July. Read the Declaration of Independence with your family. Take a minute to remember what it cost. Have a great day.